Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and Dragonflight news is here. The pre-orders are available, and we have a possible release date for Dragonflight. As always, pretty big news coming out on the same day as my This Week in WoW video, but, you know, it's okay. It's okay, just do another video, I guess. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the pre-orders, talk about whether you should pre-order, not pre-order, and talk about the different values of the different stuff that you get or whatever from the pre-ordering and everything like that. And then, of course, I guess we'll start first with the release date. So this is the most surprising news, and that is that they posted that the release date will be December 31st or sooner. So by the end of this year is what they're trying to say there. So this came to a shock to many people. I will say this, though, there is a grain of salt to take this with. So, you know, the general population of WoW doesn't know when something's going to release or anything like that. What you're going to do is you're going to get your information from a trusted WoW source, whether that's Wowhead, whether that's your favorite YouTube creator, whoever, saying that this is possibly when the release date will be. And so what I will say is I have kind of joined into that group and predicting things and doing so fairly well. And the reason why I do fairly well is because I kind of use the same model that these other sources are using, right? And now, of course, it is completely possible that this is pushed to be quote unquote too early or whatever. And it's definitely possible that they did want to get it in before the end of the year for quarterly earnings and stuff like that, right? That's also possible. Although it just would push into the first quarter earnings instead. But anyways, regardless of that, that is possible. But I would say not to be too doomer on this, because based on the 9.2 patch, the actual predictions initially for Dragonflight were November or December. Now you have to realize it wasn't until they announced that there would be a season 4 that we started thinking February or March, depending on which person you're listening to. I was thinking late February personally. So this is 2 months earlier than that. But my prediction was completely altered because of the season 4. So what does this mean? Well, it could mean, like I said, the first thing, where they were trying to throw it together, get it in before the end of the year or whatever, for make the earnings in a certain time period that they want to make them in. That's possible, but I would say if you're only basing that on because some of us were predicting that it would be February or March now, and like bigger people than me, of course, predicting that, then I would step back a little bit, because we're only predicting that because of the season 4 edition. What could be the case instead is that they're trying to crunch season 4 in to give us something to do. And so this is like added content, meaning that they were further along in Dragonflight than we would have ever really expected them to be, which definitely means that they started working on it in 9.1 very heavily, like, as some people speculated, if that's the case. And they're further along in Dragonflight, and they said, well, why don't we give them something to do for the few months before Dragonflight comes out? So we're going to see season 3 end up ending either at the end of July or the end of August. I was initially thinking early September, but now I would say at the latest would be end of August, giving a few months to do this season 4 before Dragonflight releases. So that would, and it could come as early as the end of July, even. So that's where we're at as far as that goes. So it could be either or. I'm not here to, while I support World of Warcraft, I'm not like, someone who cares an awful lot about Blizzard per se or anything like that. I enjoy playing World of Warcraft, and that's about it. And so, it could be a doomer thing, but it also could just very reasonably be that because they kind of phoned it in on Shadowlands, that's why Dragonflight's a little bit ready. And I don't think you can be intellectually honest and say both that they phoned it in and that they also haven't been working on Dragonflight at all. If they phoned it in for like Korthia and that raid, and then 9.2 was much better, of course, but if you think that they did that, then it was, they were probably working on Dragonflight at that point, kind of not worried about this. And what 9.2 could have ended up being was like an amalgam of two patches, and that's why it's like one solid patch. Whereas they were still working on Dragonflight during it, but they kind of put 9.2 and 9.3 together into one thing, and that's why it actually felt like a full patch instead of 9.1, which did not feel like a full patch. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. So it could be a Doomer thing. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that sometimes, we have to make assumptions too. And by we, I mean not only me, but like people much larger than me that have more of an influence. We have to make assumptions as well. And our assumptions could have been the opposite. We could have thought season 4 was to extend Shadowlands, whereas instead it was season 4 is just to kind of make it feel like there was extra content in Shadowlands since they kind of phoned it in early. And it could be either or of those, and we'll see. So if you see me flying around this green mount here, this is the new mount that you get for pre-ordering the at least heroic edition, I believe. I'm going to go through the editions or whatever that you can order or pre-order or whatever. The base, heroic, and epic, and then like the collector's edition. It's a really cool mount, actually. There is a little bit of a goofy thing with it. I don't know if they'll fix this or not, but when you jump, it jumps first and then it puts its wings out, so it's a little bit goofy there. Can't say I love that, but it's not a huge deal to me. It looks really cool though. I don't know if like the wings change with seasons. They're kind of grassy here, possibly for summer. Do they change to like fall leaves, and then do they change to ice or something in the winter? I have no idea, but that'd be pretty cool if it does. All right, let's take a look at these different editions and talk about what's worth and what's not worth, stuff like that. First of all, if you let's talk about if you should pre-order any game or not, right? But specifically in this case, obviously Dragonflight. So, do you enjoy Shadowlands right now? Do you enjoy doing casual content? Do you enjoy playing by yourself? Do you just kind of enjoy the game in general, even though it may not be the popular opinion? Then if you want to pre-order, I would say go ahead and pre-order, because it's not going to matter if everything's tuned perfectly for you on release or whatever. If you enjoy the game now, you're probably really going to enjoy Dragonflight, because I think it's going to be more of a step towards Azeroth, and you'll probably enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy the game right now, or you're not subbed right now, it'd probably be good to wait until you get to see more of the game, like in a beta content or closer to the release, and see how things are going then. Like, you should never pre-order a game if you aren't 100% sure you're going to like it. I know I'm going to like Dragonflight, because at the very least, I would play it by myself and still put tons of hours into the game. And at the very best, I'll continue raiding and having a good old time doing that stuff. So I know I'm going to like it, so I pre-ordered it. And that's how I view pre-ordering something or not. So the base edition, so this is, I think it's 50, 70, 90 for the cost of these now in US dollars. So the base edition is Dragonflight, and you get a Draka pet as a pre-purchase bonus item. So that's just one of these pets. I believe it's the Drakthir looking pet. We have Heroic Edition, the expansion Dragonflight experience. The Murgastraza pet, that's the Murloc looking pet. That's kind of like a fuse between Murloc and Alexstrasza. The Tangled Dreamweaver mount, that's that mount you see me flying around in the game. Dragonflight level boost. So this is actually a really good value. So you get a level 60 character boost. You can use this. Like I might use it on a Horde character, for example. And then you still get the Draka pet as well. So this is actually pretty good value there. So because for $20 more, you get a mount, and if you like the mount, right? If you don't care about the mount, whatever, and a character boost, which costs quite a bit on its own. So, that's kind of actually a good deal if you want to look at it that way. So the Epic Edition concludes all of the Heroic Edition. So let's just say that the money's worth it for that. You might not agree with that. But $70 for the Heroic Edition. So what are you getting for the extra $20? This Wings Transmog, if you can see it on this elf over here, you get a Wings Transmog item, a crown. So a crown transmog item that you can use. There are different colors of these, so you don't have to have the base color. A Time Walker's Hearthstone effect, 30 days of game time, and the Draka pet as well. So that's, I don't know why they put that in all of them. So the 30 days of game time is actually $15, right? Technically, so that would be it would basically depend on if you think a Hearthstone effect and um, these transmog things are worth like $5 to you, essentially. If they're worth $5 to you, then it's probably worth it. If they're not and you don't care about it, it's probably not. The heroic edition is probably just the best value, assuming that you like the mount. You do get the character boost. You could argue that they're all worth it because of the character boost and based on the character boost price, but heroic's probably the best one if you like the mount. Uh, Other than that, you're basically saying, well, I'm getting some extra game time, and then is $5 worth these transmogs and stuff like that. There is the complete collection. They have a collector's edition. Here we go. So they do have the collector's edition as well. So with this is you get all this extra stuff as well. I would say if you're going to get the epic version anyways, then go ahead and get the collector's edition because you get a lot of cool like real life stuff with it, and real life stuff's always in my opinion, more valuable than in-game stuff. So you get the pin collection set. So these 5 pins here. You get the art book. The art book's actually really cool for any expansion. Alex draws a mouse pad. You know, that ain't worth a lot, but it is something. And then you obviously get the actual box for it as well, which the box is kind of the coolest thing. It's something you can display, something cool if you really like World of Warcraft. I would say if you're going to get the epic and you have the money to get collectors, then it's probably worth it. But again, if you like the mount, get the heroic, and if you don't care, get the regular. And if you really don't care, just wait until it comes out and get it then. It's not really a big deal. But I did want to talk about the actual values of stuff and whether you should pre-order or not and stuff like that, because you know some people really put a lot of thought on that, whether they should do stuff like that. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm really excited to see this. I do think we'll get alpha announcement now, probably next week or this week still. I imagine it'll be quite soon on the alpha announcement. And then we'll see how far along the game is. I have a feeling it's much farther along than what people think. However, we will see very soon if that is true or not about how far along the game is. So it won't be long, and you won't have to speculate anymore. Of course, I'm very excited if it comes out before the end of the year. Then that's great. That's no lulls of stuff to do in the game, and no time where I feel like should I unsub, stuff like that, because there's nothing to do. So I'm pretty much looking forward to it, pretty much excited about it. And if there ends up being negativity, like the game isn't ready, clearly, like everyone can tell it's not ready, then of course I will be negative about it. I'm just going to call it like it is. That's what I always do. I don't call something bad just because it's popular too. And I'm not going to call something good just because, I have a lot of nostalgia with the game. I'll call it like I see it. That's how I typically do things here. So, as always, I do ask you to please subscribe. I can't talk. Sorry. I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel because it helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.